In recent history, the LGBTQ community has made massive strides. Queer representation in media is at an all-time high, and for gay people, so is public opinion. But for the transgender community, acceptance is lagging behind. 54% of adults say that sex can only be determined at birth, and 1/3 of society says that we've gone too far in accepting transgender people. Representation plays a big role in these statistics. Across broadcast, cable, and streaming networks combined, there are a total of 433 regular LGBTQ characters. Of those, only 26 are transgender. That's only 6% of all LGBTQ characters and 0.5% of all roles on television. To find out why this underrepresentation of the trans community matters, we interviewed Dr. Fran Huckabee, who oversees women and gender studies, amongst other areas, at Texas Christian University.
When we don't have representation, several things can happen, right? One of the things that can happen is when we don't know people, right? And when we don't know people, we can be afraid, we can have biases that are unwarranted biases. So when we have those types of things, it sets us up to be less than what we can be in a variety of different ways.
And it's true. In 2018, one study found that simply seeing photos of gender non-conforming faces reduced transphobic biases among participants. But acceptance doesn't paint the full picture for the problems facing the transgender community, as Fran explains.
We're living in a time where trans people are more vulnerable than other people in our society. So they're more vulnerable to violence perpetrated on them, and they're more vulnerable to not realizing their full worth and potential in our society.
In fact, one report found that over half of all transgender individuals reported being verbally harassed, and nearly a quarter reported being physically assaulted. 2018 was also one of the deadliest years for trans people on records, with at least 26 people being murdered. These problems are exacerbated by the fact that an estimated 70,000 transgender youths don't have access to secure housing, and 1/3 of all transgender Americans have reported being homeless at one point in their lives.
That's on us. That's not them. That's like a societal problem, but we direct that societal problem to specific groups of people, and trans people are one of the groups that we direct that towards. And we need to do corrective action as a society in that direction. It shapes the broader society into reifying the more ugly parts of human nature, and that's just not good for humans, and we can do better than that.
But representation doesn't only have to come from the large-scale media we consume. In reality, representation within our communities can be vital. To exemplify this, we reached out to Chris Rhodes, a transgender man in Austin. Chris co-owns Flaunt Streetwear, an LGBTQ-focused clothing line that supports the gender-confirming surgery of other trans individuals. He also has his own YouTube channel and podcast. He discussed the impact that he's seen Flaunt have on his community.
Honestly, my favorite thing about running Flaunt is the emails that we get from people that are I didn't ever see someone that looked like me in a shirt that I wanted to buy until I was on your Instagram or something. It kind of is that visibility and relatability that oh, I saw someone that looked like me, or a shirt that had my pronouns on it. Just something that made someone feel oh, a company's making things for me, not just I have to find something that suits me at a company that's not making it for me.
Nearly 42% of all LGBTQ youth say they live in a community where they don't feel accepted, so establishments like Flaunt can provide hope for these kids. Dr. Huckabee further explains why these resources should remain a priority.
It's also really important to think about the ways in which being able to see oneself, or being able to see people who have similar experiences represented in the broader society, and to know, oh, this is something that I'm experiencing. This is something that I can connect to. It sort of opens up possibilities, right? So then one can know, one, that you're not alone, two, that you're not crazy, that there are other people who have similar experiences, and to find communities that can then be supportive and accepting, and help you know more about who you are and your history in the community that you're a part of.
The internet can also be a great resource when broader media falls short. YouTube channels like Chris's, which discusses various trans issues, offers an invaluable outlet for trans people to discover themselves.
I started making YouTube videos because I realized I was trans by watching someone else's YouTube videos, so I wouldn't have had that resource if someone else hadn't put themselves out there and taken the time to share their journey. So I just wanted to put one more resource or lifeline out there for other people who might not have somewhere else to find something to relate to or information or whatnot. So just kind of paying it forward for the people that like had done that for me.
And despite the role that online resources can play in self-acceptance, it continues to remain important for the broader media to represent transgender experiences, not only for the trans individuals consuming it, but also for the surrounding people, as Chris explains.
I think representation makes things feel more relatable and normalized to like the people around you. So like, because I was so well versed just in like the YouTube videos that I had found, the people around me hadn't even done a quarter of that research, and they hadn't seen even trans people exist. So I think that like that visibility would make it easier for a lot of people to transition if like general society was more well versed on trans people.
So, as LGBTQ representation continues to progress, it is important to keep in mind our shortcomings as we move forward. Transgender representation has made huge leaps in recent years, especially due to community-based efforts and online resources. But we can't be complacent with where we are now. Improving our media is vital not only for the transgender people to live their best lives, but for everyone else too. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Dr. Huckabee and Chris Rhodes. As a transgender man myself, this topic and project was very important to me, and getting both of their inputs was very valuable to our group. In the description below, you will find links to Flaunt Streetwear and Chris's YouTube channel, as well as our sources. Thank you so much for watching.